Everyone, so I want to start out this video by saying that I purchased this palette before all the drama went down, and honestly my palette got lost for like 2 months and then randomly showed up, so that is why I'm doing this video. I'm doing this swatch video to show you dupes and comparisons of this palette to the other like dark slash gothic palettes that I own. I don't own many, but I still wanted to compare shades from this palette, so if you guys wanted to skip this palette, then you would have other options. I totally understand if you do not feel comfortable watching this video. I understand completely. I don't mind if you skip this video. There's a ton of other eyeshadow palette videos on my channel that you guys can watch, but I do want to do comparisons. And I mean, I got this palette in the mail, it's here. I thought I might as well do the swatch video, and I really just wanted to show the comparisons more than anything, but I wanted to get the swatches done for the people who are here just for the swatches, and then I will go more in depth with the comparisons. So thank you guys for watching, and let's get into the swatches. And if you're here just for the dupes and comparisons, skip on a bit and you'll see me. Side note, I also apologize for the sounds of the air conditioner and fan in the background. I can't do much about that. It's been really warm this past week, so again, I apologize for the really bad audio, but I hope you guys can bear with me. Honestly, when I first saw this palette, it was disappointing. I definitely thought that when he did a more dark palette, he would have had purples and stuff, but I understand why he did kind of a full-on gray palette, right? There are warm toned grays and cool tones, and they all do work together. I saw this wonderful lady do an eye swatch video. I will link it in the description because I absolutely adore her videos, but when I watched that, I was like, okay, I want to swatch these on my arms, and so that you guys can see what the shades look like. I thought that they would look really bad, but they don't look too bad. I just think it's kind of a lot for a gray palette. I guess if you're an artist, this would be a good palette because then you have all the shades, but I don't know, it's just a bit much, and you know, it's expensive, so. And with all the drama, who really needs, palettes? But I want to try and focus on the quality of the product and stuff like that. And the palette does come with a decent sized mirror, which is always nice. The 3 palettes that I am comparing are obviously the Cremated palette, the ColourPop Smoke Show palette, and the Lime Crime Venus Immortalis palette. Those are the only 2 darker tone palettes that I own. I know I don't have that much of a selection. I'm definitely more of a bright eyeshadow girl, but I still wanted to do these little comparisons for you guys because I do like the other 2 palettes I own, and I honestly wasn't sure if I needed Cremated, and I'm really hoping with my comparisons I will decide that these are better than Cremated, but we shall see. Honestly, took me a minute to figure out what shades could be dupes, but Echo from Immortalis and Last Look from the Cremated palette, those were 2 that immediately I was like, okay, I need to swatch these. And as you can see, they're dupes. The only difference, Jeffree stars on the left and Lime Crime is on the right. The only difference is that the Cremated palette one has more glitter. It's definitely more of a glittery finish, and the Lime Crime one is more metallic, but they are very much dupes, other than like the Cremated one has more of like a glittery finish, and the Lime Crime one is definitely more of a metallic finish. I honestly do prefer the Cremated one. I love me some glitter, but it's still really pretty, in my opinion. I mean, just look at that. Like, oh, they're so gorgeous. But I definitely think that they're close enough that on the lid you probably wouldn't be able to tell a big difference. But yeah, I think it's cool that Last Look and Echo are a dupe. I love me a dupe. Next, I swatched Slated from the ColourPop palette, and Wednesday and RIP from the Cremated palette, because I wasn't quite sure just upon looking which would be closer. In the end, RIP was definitely more of a dupe. So basically the top is Wednesday, the middle is ColourPop, and the bottom is RIP. So the ColourPop shade and RIP are dupes, which is always nice. We love a good ColourPop dupe for a more expensive palette. It's honestly a very, very beautiful shade. I also wanted to put Ash from the Lime Crime palette against these, but Ash is one of the worst gray shadows I've ever used in my life. It is horrible. It has hard pan. These are the swatches. Ash is on the very right. It's just a mess. Wednesday is on the left. The middle two shades are the ColourPop and RIP. As you guys can see, they are pretty similar. Sorry for my hairy leg, but it is what it is. So definitely Slated and RIP are a dupe, which is really nice. If you guys can't tell, I don't do dupe videos like ever. It's way too much work. The next video, I don't know what I'm saying. I wanted to see if this other ColourPop shade had any dupes from the Cremated palette, and honestly no, like they're not exact dupes. The top one is the ColourPop one, and the other two are the Jeffree Star one, and honestly it's like a mix between the two. The Jeffree Star ones definitely have a little bit more like bam in your face with a little bit more glitter, and the ColourPop one on top is more metallic, but it's still really pretty. And as you guys can see, the ColourPop one is on top, and definitely it's closer to the first Jeffree Star shade, but honestly it's more so like if the first Jeffree Star shade was mixed with the second shade. It's still beautiful, but eh. And then I wanted to swatch the white shades in each of the palette, because why not? The white shade in the Lime Crime palette sucks so bad. Do not like it at all. But, you know, they're not the horrible. Like, I like, honestly, out of how all these swatched, the Jeffree Star one did perform the best. It definitely felt the nicest. The Lime Crime one is the worst. And the ColourPop one's so-so. Like, it's not the best white that I've ever tried, but it's pretty okay. On my arm, the Lime Crime shade only showed up as glitter. Literally. It would not show up at all, so obviously it is not good. But I kind of really like both the Jeffree Star one and the ColourPop one, but I would prefer the ColourPop just because the palette is so much cheaper. Next, we're gonna try not conspiracy, we will not go there. Cremated palette, Life Insurance, and Stone Face from ColourPop. They are very similar. They are not like exact dupes. The ColourPop one is a bit more paler, but they are very similar. I definitely think you could get pretty close on the eyes. Those are all the dupes that I could find. I honestly couldn't find many, and even comparisons weren't even really close. Now let's talk about, you know, the Cremated palette. And all the drama aside, it's a pretty palette. Do I recommend it? Swatch wise, it's good. It's swatched really well. I didn't really have any issues swatching any shades. I'm just showing you guys video of the shades that I liked it the most and kind of what made me grab the palette in the first place. Putting aside all the drama and all the bad stuff and all the controversy with this palette in general, because it was in poor taste, definitely the name and everything, but the formula itself is beautiful. The glittery shades are definitely like my favorite. I definitely do love his glittery metallic formula. It is so beautiful. That being said, again, swatches do not dictate how these will work on the eyes. They could suck, but knowing the formula from previous palettes, it's probably a good formula. I just would recommend, maybe if you like all the shades in this palette and you think you're gonna get a lot of use out of this palette, then I'd say yeah, it probably is worth it, because you get all these different shades, and you know, if you want to do a cool gray look or a warm gray look, you have everything covered. Whereas in the cheaper palettes or in other palettes, you don't have all the products you might need shadow wise. That being said, I don't think this palette is obviously for everyone. If you don't like the brand owner, you know, that'll be a big reason why most people will not get this palette. But that aside, it's just a big palette and it's expensive. Like, I don't think you need every single shade in this palette to do a gray look or a dark look, you know what I mean? Like, I definitely think that the ColourPop palette, I've used it before, it's only $12 US, and it is stunning. It is so beautiful. Lime Crime, it has its flaws, definitely, and would not be my recommendation. I would recommend the ColourPop palette for sure. It is very more simplistic, obviously. You only get 9 shades, but in those 9 shades, there are quite a few dark looks you can do, in my opinion. But I don't know, I think Cremated, it does give you a lot of options for different eye looks, more than any palette that I own gray tone wise. But again, I only own 2 other palettes, so it's not like I'm the perfect example of palettes that way. But personally, I mean, it's swatched nice. It's just really hard for me to, you know, be in love with a product with everything going on. Which is why I wanted to show you guys dupes for the first time ever, because, you know, I know most of you probably wouldn't want to get this palette. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Again, I am so sorry about the audio and, you know, the white noise in the background. It sucks. Hopefully it starts cooling off, because it's been like plus 30 Celsius every day. It's been a mess. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe. Make sure you like, comment down below any videos you'd like to see me do. Go follow my Instagram, Makeup by Tasha XO. I try to post every day. And I will see you in the next video.